In Star Wars, we have a bunch of different examples of this. I'll skip the Jedi for now, but if we go to the Sith, their rule of two is their interpretation of balance in the Force. So the Bendu, for example, whose relative inaction is his interpretation of balance of the Force. The Stoics would disagree with him because for the Stoics, there's a necessary tension or kinesis holding this universal harmony together. So avoiding the action is also avoiding universal harmony. If we're looking at this on a sympathetic to antipathetic scale, the Bendu would be apathetic. He'd just be outside the system. I have examples in the Battle of Jedha. For example, when Marta says it's what the Jedi do that's bad, you understand that the Force will always find balance, always. They might use its power to save a life, and for a while everyone think they've done a good thing, a kind thing, but if they save a life here, someone else must die to restore the balance. Now that is a very short-sighted view of universal balance. It's really just numbers balance, but within their own perception. But the path of the hand is also kind of showing their cards when they say, don't worry about us, we'll do what the path does best, help anyone in need, and show them all that the Jedi have failed them. Kind of revealing your biases there. That's why I picked up this book in the first place. We see different people with different religions and different relationships to the Force interacting with each other. We also see that during the Renaissance. For example, Giovanni Pico della Mirandola and Giambattista della Porta came into clashes with the church when they said this whole Sympathia thing is just magic, and they had to argue, no, this is good magic, this is light magic, this is white magic that brings balance to God's creation, unlike dark magic and witchcraft, which bring unbalance to God's creation. We see the same thing in The Acolyte or in Clone Wars, where we have the Jedi and witches making these semantic arguments about which use of the Force is more moral. One thing that Star Wars has that's better than real life in this respect is that the Force is tangible and measurable. You can count midichlorians, you can lift a rock or choke a dude, you can predict the future in a consistent way. But despite that relative objectivity, there are still multiple schools of thought and multiple interpretations of what the Force is and how it works and what its purpose is. But here in the real world, we don't have that same level of materiality when it comes to Sympathia. We don't have midichlorians, Fracastoro. We don't have astral rays, El-Kindi. So if they can't figure out their morality, how are we supposed to? If you want to learn more about this subject, this is really from two sources. We have the Battle of Jedha, and also just notes that I took while I was editing the lecture, The Concept of Sympathy in Greek Heritage by Maria de Chilis, which is part of the Islamic History and Thought lecture series. This episode will be coming soon.